Is that you? So much has happened. I don't even know where to begin. When did we talk last? Yesterday? Oh, you guys, this weekend has been cray. I have had such crazy tests and stretches and integration and manifestations and revelations and everything. And it's so funny looking back on yesterday. One of our cards for the Oracle forecast of the week was anger. And it's so funny because I was like a little bit buzzed doing our video last night, and I was so mad that like this person at the bar was like, "Oh, I love your overalls," but I was wearing like pants and suspenders. But today I am wearing overalls. In fact, this outfit to me, I feel like a Nordic fisherman who came in from the sea to record a rap album. Oh my gosh, I hope I didn't offend the country of Norway. If this is wrong, I don't want to be right, because I love dressing like a Nordic fisherman. And you can't take this from me. It's everything. Oy vey. Okay, so I've been like running around like crazy. This is like my first day off, and I guess after my work week. And I was really hoping to just be like the Empress and the High Priestess and be luxurious and like go wander through nature and just be feral and like wander and like ruminate. And once again, I was like my grandfather reincarnated, back at it with the air conditioning unit in my pipe. Yes, so the buckets of damp rinse had filled up to like inches again. And so I'm like, oh my God, I have like absorbed gallons of water out of the air of my house at this point. And I started wondering, well, I'm going to pause there and just go back and be like, okay, every single shift this weekend, like I prayed out loud, I invited the help of my angels, my higher self, Jesus, Holy Spirit, everybody that could get involved for my highest good. I'm like, I'll take all the help I can get. Bring the armies. And I'm telling you guys, every single shift I got like in detail, everything that I asked for. Like my minimum, dollars were made, like the types of tables, like being in certain sections with like, certain circumstances happening. It was crazy. So that was really fun. And then I manifested like some random foods as well, and that was really fun. And then I feel like there was something else that was major or pretty big, and I was like, what? But today I went out and I had a bunch of errands, and I decided while I was out to just go ahead and get my COVID booster, and I stopped at Publix and just like on a whim to see if they could just give me one if I walked in. And then as it turns out, they had the Moderna, which I have, and I was able to get my booster, and I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to make an appointment or anything. It was great. Perfect. So then like every other stage of my journey was like a success too. And I'm like not the person that's ever had this kind of life, y'all. So this is a testimony of like good results, and like if you do what I say, like you will have a harmony. It's just like Jesus said, if the man thinketh, so is he. We have the power of life and death in our tongue. So I went out in search of some fun items from the hemp stores around town, and I manifested like good deals. So I got like a whole free cartridge at one store, and then I ended up getting like a significant chunk off at another store. And then when I went to get my oil changed, they were just like, do you have any coupons? And I was like, I took a survey. It said to take a survey and save money. And they were like, okay, cool, we'll just give you and then they gave me like a huge chunk off of my oil change. I was like, yes. So all day long, everywhere, I was just like manifesting goodness. And then I went to Home Depot, and I ran into my maintenance guy who we have been putting our heads together and trying to figure this thing out. And he was like, oh my God, it's so crazy that I'm running into you here. He was like, I just came from one of the other units. And he was like, and they have, they're having a similar issue. And he was like, so I wanted to ask you more questions about it. And he was like, I was thinking about coming by your house today or tomorrow. But he was like, I feel like I should come by today. And I was like, yeah. So, I told him what was going on, that it was like, I have all this excess moisture in the air, and even though I've got like 4 damp rids going on, they're still filling up like every couple of days. And I keep changing the refills, and I keep like messing with the pipe outside, and it's still not like draining enough. And he was like, okay, well, one of the other units had a situation where their coil got like clogged and backed up, and then the condensation started going back into their air return. He was like, and I think that's what's going on with yours. So he came over and got in under the unit, and I finished my errands. And by the time I got home, he was like, you won't even believe it. He was like, there was like all this crazy random debris like clogged up in the coil. And because of that, like, oh, God knows for how long the water has just been backing up, like all the condensation. So this moisture has just been like circulating, like through the same moisture has just been circulating through your house. And I was like, oh my God, it's been like an ocean. He was like, he goes, then, so it's been circulating back into like the vent or whatever. I don't know the right technical terms. I think these are the right words. And whatever the metal thing is that like goes through and like people climb through it in action movies, that thing, all this water had gathered in there and separated itself from like the air return. So the air return is just pumping in like air from under the house. So it's like, no wonder it's been smelling. I said, it smells like a dirt floor basement in my house. And I'm like doing everything I can to like get on this and like bleach everything like all the time. It's like, what is this? And so then he tells me that like gallons of water had collapsed the vent, and I've been breathing basically dirt air and wetness, and I had algae jellyfish in my condensation drippage hose. And he was like, there were so many random like things that played into like this culminating into this huge problem, but he was like, I know how to fix this, and we are already getting it started. So he cleaned out my coil. I've had my windows open. It's been nice. The air has been like really nice to circulate through the house. It hasn't been too hot today. And he serviced the air conditioner, and so it's going to start working. He's going to finish the job tomorrow, but it's already like a different house. I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. And so what else? I feel like there was something else. Oh yeah. And I got, I manifested, there's this hibiscus bush growing across the street from the restaurant I work at. And it's gorgeous, and it's like so huge, and it's been so plush all summer. And it's like this really like just really pretty pink one. And as I was on the way into Home Depot to get damp refills like by the pound, like at the general store, I noticed that they had the same hibiscus bushes for sale. So I bought my own cute little hibiscus bush. So I'm super excited. So I have been working my butt off integrating like that inner and the outer, as we've been talking about for the last few weeks. We are observing what our outer circumstances are telling us about the inner realms, right? Because if we can really get to the root of what's going on in the inner realm, then that completely alleviates the challenges going on in the outer realm. The outer realm is really just a reflection. It's just basically projecting on a screen what spirit wants us to see in order for us to like train ourselves into self-mastery or whatever. So it's just like, hey, look, be aware of this. For me, all of this water was resulting in parallel to all of this like work that I've been doing with the 2B magnetic workshops this summer, the unblocking challenge, but it's been getting to the core fear or core limiting belief that holds back, that holds you back from basically like really stepping into your fuller potential and up leveling into like your higher self. It's like, what are the ego layers that are holding you back, and then like getting to the root of the subconscious patterns, and then really like reprogramming them. But it's not bypassing. You're really doing the work, and you're really having a breakthrough. It's just like super efficient and like super thorough and super fast. It's just like the revelation. It's just the perfect way to tap into it. So all of this stuff has been a blocking. But as all of that energy is moving, it's like bringing up tests and things and challenges, so that you're forced to see how learn how to now integrate the learned wisdom and experience that we've all been accumulating over these, weeks and months and years that we've been together and trying to practice self-awareness and consciousness and all of that. And we're now trying to put it into practice. And so it's like we're learning how to be this new version of ourselves in this new life amidst new circumstances, feeling differently, feeling almost kind of like a blank slate in a way, in a good way, not like in a lost sort of way, but in a kind of a sacred self-emptying, so that we can be fresh to create from a point of fresh seeds, is the best way I can put it. So our card today, oh, and before I forget, I would suggest reading the description today. I put our written blog from Instagram in the description, and sometimes I feel like it goes into a different direction that I may not cover in the video, which is valid and it plays into what we're talking about as well. So we got the Pilgrim, which talks about being the kind of person who's always interacting with life from the perspective of a spiritual student, who's always in training, who's always trying to expand the self and to self-master. And so part of that is developing wisdom. Another aspect is developing willpower, and another aspect of that is developing understanding. And so we're always kind of working at these things and applying them to our life, but we're at the same time we're meeting like our day-to-day, moment-to-moment, mundane, inconveniences and challenges and irritations. So instead of getting lost in the fray of the mundane life and the coming and going and letting that turn into this gray sort of like repetitive, lifeless, kind of Groundhog Day repetition, instead use those everyday simple moments, those mundane moments, like almost like a monk living in a state of the temple. Take your temple wherever you are. It makes life so much more interesting when you're constantly pretending that you're in some kind of like gauntlet or obstacle course where the universe is throwing you these things, and then when you look at it that way, it goes from being very aggravating and sometimes very upsetting to almost like hilarious. Like, are you kidding me? With you're like, really, come on, all right. So then you start to catch on, and then you can play along as well. So make life a living prayer, make it a living sacred practice, make it the temple that you carry with you from the inside is projecting a screen on the temple of your life, right? So don't forget to and be accidentally disconnected from the sacred just in the day-to-day, right? Because often we think that we don't have time for a spiritual practice or we can't squeeze it into our day, but if we incorporate it in with us at all times, it's a part of who we are, and it becomes our second nature. It's just always with us, it's always on our shoulder, it's always in the presence of our awareness. And it becomes a part of the avatar and a part of our video game. Then we also got King of Swords again. And so we have been kind of vibing and channeling the energy of the King of Swords recently. And we've been sort of in this state of, okay, now that I've transformed and I feel very like emotionally sober, you're feeling like very grounded and much more secure in your own sovereignty. And you've got a lot of clarity. It's like the message here would be like, oh, I see it all so clearly now. Oh my God, like you've seen the light, and your environment is really starting to reflect this inner sense of peace and this entry into the kingdom. So your consciousness is changing. Your transformation is becoming apparent in your life, and you're wielding your truth. You have a new truth, and you are embodying that and integrating that into your day-to-day. Just be careful not to be too aloof or cold or harsh or snippy or mean or an asshole or a dick, because the king can be kind of like that sometimes. This King of Swords can be a little bit insensitive, a little uncaring, a little unfeeling. So yes, so we are really just taking authority over our lives. We're taking care of business. We're feeling strong. We're feeling very stable, very stable. And things are good. Things are getting good. And things already are good. And we're calling in even more good. And how can it get any better than this? Is a great affirmation to say to yourself and out loud all the time. How does it get any better than this? Just invites more. All right, you guys. I have my sore arm. I'm glad I went with the left arm, my decorative arm, because my little jab hurts and I'm getting tired, and I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna make zucchini for my garden and some more cucumber and dill salad. And I have some Alaskan salmon. I'm excited. All right, y'all, be good, but not too good. Ciao.